Hello everybody, welcome back to week 2 roundup of my NaNoWriMo challenge. Today I'm going to talk to you about the highs and lows of this last week of writing the NaNoWriMo challenge. So if you're new around here, my name's Charlotte, I'm a writer, a published author, I'm a heritage researcher and a historian, and I create videos on my YouTube channel about writing, about researching, about what it's like to be a writer. I do book reviews and lots of kind of literature based stuff. As Charlotte and Tom, Tom is my husband, together we create videos about lifestyle, travel, the renovation of our home, that kind of thing. And if you are one of my return visitors, I hope you've had a wonderful week. Well, I say wonderful as it can be in a pandemic and a second lockdown, but you know what I mean. I hope it's been all right, all things considered. So I'm going to try and keep this relatively short as well, but I have got a couple of things. So I've got some notes in front of me so that I don't lose my way. I've already started recording this once and I was gibbering and jabbering and making a right mess of it. So I'm trying again with some notes written down. If you've been with me, following me a while, you will know that I do have a tendency to just yabber on. So I'm trying to make myself as concise as possible, which is not an easy feat. So in week 1, or kind of in my introduction to the NaNoWriMo challenge, I said that I was going to be working on a brand new project. And then in my week 1 roundup, I told you that I'd actually changed my mind and I'd decided to continue on with the project that I've been working on for probably the past 4 or 5 years. It was one that I was doing in the 2018 NaNoWriMo challenge. And I wanted to kind of really push ahead with the story and work on that. And I have done that over the last week, but as of this morning, I've changed my mind again. So I'm really sorry. Basically, the reason I've decided to change my mind again is that I'm really not finding myself inspired by this story that I'm writing at all. I think it's a good story and I think it's got merit to it, but I'm just finding that I don't want to sit down and write. And I think it's because of the story. I have come across, I'm finding it hard to kind of link all of my thoughts together. I'm really sorry. This whole week I've been uninspired. So Tom ended up working all weekend and I was like, oh, don't worry about it. I'll use it as an opportunity for me to write all weekend. And then I just didn't want to. I didn't want to sit down in front of my laptop. I didn't want to sit in bed and write. And I don't think it was that I didn't want to write. I think it was that I didn't want to write the story that I'd been working on. Because there's been a couple of things that I've done this week where I have been writing and I've really enjoyed it. So one of the things that I've done this week is the Open University have been doing a 50-word writing challenge. And every day they've posted a photograph as a writing prompt, and then you have to write this 50-word story as a response to the photo. And so I've been doing that every single day. I didn't do it over the weekend, but I did it kind of Monday to Friday. And I really enjoyed it. I found it inspiring. It kind of got my creative juices flowing early on in the morning, because I used to do it first thing when I sat down in the morning. Never won any of the days, like. I was always like, oh yeah, I've written a really good one today. I'm really hoping it's successful. And then it's never been chosen. But that's not the whole point of doing it, is it? So I'd been doing that Monday to Friday. So I knew it wasn't that I didn't want to write. I really honestly think it was that the project wasn't inspiring me. So over the last week, I have done edits on that manuscript. And I've done a few bits and pieces on it. But I think what I'm struggling with is I'm editing at the moment, and I think I said this last week as well. I really want to get onto the writing part of it. So basically I came into the office this morning thinking, oh God, I've got to do a video and I've got to talk about what I've done on my manuscript, and I haven't done anything. How am I supposed to tell everyone that I've not done any work on the manuscript, that I've changed my mind again? What the hell can I do to actually really inspire myself for the rest of NaNoWriMo so that I don't just end up producing 4 videos of me saying that I haven't done anything? Do you know what I mean? So one of my friends, Kayla, who is also a writer, is doing NaNoWriMo as well. And we've been kind of chatting about stuff and we've been talking about the challenge, and we kind of said that we'd check in with each other every few days and see how we're going and this, that and the other. And she mentioned something to me called Wavemaker. Never heard of it before, But this morning I knew I wanted to do some writing today, and I knew I had some time throughout the day to do some writing, and didn't want to do my project, the one that I'd been working on last week. So I thought I'd have a look at this Wavemaker that she was using. And I have to say, I think it's really good. It took me a while to understand what the hell was going on because it's not a particularly intuitive tool when you first go onto it. It doesn't, there's no like tutorial showing you through how to use anything. So you kind of have to work it out for yourself. But once you do that, once you get through that and you're kind of using the tool itself, I've actually found it really good. So rather than working on the current project, the one that I was kind of 20-odd thousand words into, what I decided to do was to start a new project on Wavemaker with this completely new project idea that I'd started thinking about and that I had originally planned to do for NaNoWriMo, but then had decided not to go ahead with. So I've basically spent probably 3 or 4 hours today planning out some of that manuscript. Not the manuscript so much, but the kind of the plot. Basically, Wavemaker has a few different tools within one project, like a load of tabs down the side, and you can do a mind map, you can do a timeline, which is really handy for plotting. You can do like cards. I don't know how it all works, to be honest, but what I've been doing is using the cards for like random information that I want to collect, information on a location or a certain person or why I'm setting the book in this particular place or this, that and the other. The timeline, obviously, I'm using for kind of plotting. And then the mind maps I'm doing for characters. So like there's a name in the middle and then all the kind of details relating to each character around it. And so yeah, I've spent a few hours today mapping out this completely new project on Wavemaker. And it's really, really helped me to not only just get the idea out of my head and all these different thoughts that were flying around in my head about the idea, but I think it's got them out in a way that I think is quite constructive and could hopefully really kind of spur me on to start writing about it. I feel like I've still got like 3 or 4 more hours worth of planning to do, which I'm going to do this afternoon, but I'm losing the light. The light's actually going now, so that's why I wanted to film this video before we lost the light. But I feel like by the end of today, I might have enough kind of random detail, plotting, character information to maybe just start writing a few passages. And another really cool thing that Wavemaker does is you can do these little challenges, which is what Kayla had told me about. That's why she uses it. And you can do things like you have to write 150 words in 5 minutes, or 300 words in 10 minutes, or 600 words in 15 minutes. There's all these kind of things. And the challenge is that if you don't write those words in that amount of time, they all get erased. You completely lose them. If you do hit your word count by, say, 5 minutes, then you get to retain that information. That copy is actually automatically saved in your manuscript. So I really liked that. I kind of did a couple of little challenges just before I started recording this video, and I found them really, really kind of exciting. I think that idea of 150 words, I can do that, that's fine. You do one and you're like, oh, well, that was quite easy. 150 words came quite easy. So I did another one and I did another one. So I think I've already written about 500 words just from doing those little challenges. So yeah, I feel like this new project, and I kind of feel like I need to come up with some like names for these 2 different projects that I've got going on, because otherwise just saying this project and this project, it's quite confusing. But the new one that I'm working on is like a bit like a ghostly, it's kind of a ghost story mixed with a kind of murder mystery, but it's set at a lighthouse. And it's kind of a bit, I wanted it to be kind of like country housey, heritagey. That's the cat running around. I don't know if you can hear him. Yeah, I wanted it to be a bit like, I suppose a bit Wilkie Collins-y, a bit Kate Morton style, something that's a bit kind of like set at a historic place, but then has a little bit of the paranormal woven in. There's going to be, so that kind of thing. So maybe I'll call that the Lighthouse Project. And then the one that I had been working on for many, many, many years is set at a psychiatric unit. And so I don't know, maybe I'll call that the Clinic Project or something like that. And it's basically looking at mental health and about general health as well. One of the characters has got a medical problem, but it's undiagnosed, and another person has got a mental health issue that is diagnosed, but there's a little bit of something spooky going on there as well. When I tell people the idea for the Clinic Project, which is the one I've really stalled on this week, the idea comes to me and I talk about it and I'm excited and I'm like, yes, I really want to kind of finish the story because I think it's really unique. And then I start writing it and I just lose my focus. So I've talked for 10 minutes. I really, really don't want to talk for much longer. But my take-ins from this week, so what have I learnt from this week? I think I've learnt that just sitting down with a blank Word document and writing isn't working for me at the moment, because I have to work around other responsibilities, around other clients, around other pieces of work that I've got to do. I need to work with a tool or a program that will help to focus me and inspire me along the way. I found Wavemaker. I'm really happy with it so far. I've started the Lighthouse Project planning and character development and plotting and all that kind of stuff on Wavemaker. What I'm actually going to do today is I'm going to do some of that planning, plotting, character stuff in Wavemaker for the Clinic Project. Because what I'm hoping is that by getting a bit more of that information onto paper in Wavemaker, it might allow me to just start doing some writing for that project. I'll import what I've written already, and rather than editing, rather than going over what I've already done, I'm going to look at those plot points that I've put down on the plot planner. That's a tongue twister. And I'm going to try and write some more information on that one. So what am I going to do for this next week coming? Obviously, we are in the next week already. It's Monday. Tomorrow, this week's a little bit difficult for me because tomorrow, Wednesday and Thursday, I've actually got some work to do, quite a lot of work. So I'm going to try my best to do my couple of hours at the end of every day. But it may be that actually I can back end some work at the end of the week rather than doing work every single day of this coming week. So what I'm going to try and do is I am going to try maybe work on both ideas concurrently, which might be a really bad idea. But I'm going to continue with the planning of the Lighthouse Project, and I'm also going to import all of the information on the Clinic Project into Wavemaker. Once I've got them both to an area where I'm like, right, okay, I've written out everything out of my head now in terms of the kind of backstory, the plot, the characters, all that kind of stuff, I'm probably going to see which one I fancy continuing on with. Because part of me really wants to finish the Clinic Project. It's like I'm 20,000 words in. There's a history there. There's a story. I'm passionate about it. Maybe just changing the way that I write is going to help me continue on with that project. However, if I put all of that stuff into Wavemaker and it still doesn't make me inspired to write it, then I will continue with the Lighthouse one and I'll continue to progress that project and that story. So yeah, I don't know if anybody's enjoying these. I'm aware that I'm not coming on and being like, yeah, I smashed 20,000 words this week. Like, I don't know. I haven't really watched anybody else's NaNoWriMo videos because other than Kayla, who I think we're both kind of on the same wavelength with our writing, and we kind of, well, she certainly inspires me. I hope that I inspire her, but I don't watch a lot of videos and stuff because I don't want to compare too much to what other people are doing. I don't want to become discouraged by people who are online being like, oh yeah, I've written like 30,000 words and my book's on its second iteration and I'm editing, and I don't know, I find it hard not to compare in the writing world. because I just want to be further down the road than I am right now, and I'm trying to really avoid comparing myself because it's not useful, it's not helpful. And the fact of the matter is that nobody writes in the same way, so there's no point in comparing myself to other writers because they'll never be able to write the book that I'm writing in the same way that I will never be able to write their book. So I don't know if other people are struggling. I don't know if other people do this kind of swapping over from one project to another. So I'm sorry if this is a bit like disappointing, or if it's not what you expected. I don't really know what I expected this series would be, but I know that I had hoped that I would be a lot further ahead in terms of goals and achieving things this week than I kind of have been. So I'm a bit disappointed in myself, to be honest, as well. But I am hoping that now I've found Wavemaker, it can really kind of spur me on to really hitting some goals over the next week or two. I'm aware we've only got like a couple of weeks left of the challenge. I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to extend my NaNoWriMo challenge. And I'm going to extend it for the first 2 weeks in December as well. I'm finishing work on the 18th of December. I think the 18th is a Friday. And I'm going to take 2 weeks off over Christmas and New Year. Completely take them off. I need them. I need a break. But I thought I might as well extend the writing challenge until then. So I'll still call it NaNoWriMo, but I might not check in as many times on video. I don't know. I'll see. But I think because these first 2 weeks have been a bit rubbish, I kind of feel like I want to tack an extra 2 weeks onto the end of the challenge to make up for it. So yeah, right, I've rambled on for 16 minutes now, so I'm going to go. Let me know how your week's been. Let me know how you've got on. I hope you've had a much better productive week than I've had. And if you haven't, then do tell me because it'll make me feel better about myself. But yeah, hopefully everyone's doing okay. It's a bit of a shit situation that we're in at the moment with the world, but you know, we can all kind of pull together and we can all be there for each other, and yeah, things will get better. So yeah, take care of yourself, stay safe, and I will see you next week. Bye.